I'd be really disappointed if I was the Dutch going in front like they have done, and then obviously letting the Japanese come back in. Credit to the Japanese, but I thought, Ange summed them up perfectly before the game, where he said they lacked belief, and they really did lack belief until they went a goal down, and then they came back and showed a little bit, but they'll be so disappointed, Holland.
Let's have a look at the goals then and how they panned out. Virgil van Dijk, Roy, with the first one there, and Gravenberch with the assist.
Yeah, brilliant, obviously brilliant delivery. We know how good he had at set pieces. Van Dijk, he's obviously on a good run of form in terms of scoring goal. He's had a tough season. But some of the delivery tonight from set pieces wasn't great, but when it comes out back to Gravenberch, and we've seen Japan dropping deeper and deeper, of course, but once it goes in, and Van Dijk, we see it from different angles, an absolutely fantastic header. He is such a goal threat, brilliant finish, and we see it from different angles. And going off the post, brilliant, the way he guided him. Obviously there's enough pace in it, but fantastic. Fantastic header again, poor defender, they're dropping deeper, but look from this angle, beautiful. You've seen it all the way. Lovely, lovely, lovely finish. And they were in total control at this stage, but they took their foot off the gas. Brilliant goal.
Well, that's it. The equaliser, in a way, in the second half, sort of came out of nowhere for Japan, because they didn't seem to have woken up at that point.
Yeah, look, it's my frustration that, every time they went a goal down, all of a sudden you saw the capabilities they had, a lot more positive on the ball. And, they all of a sudden started asking the Netherlands questions, and for me it's do that from the beginning. But you can see here they're running that half space really well the whole game, and then it comes out to Nakamura. Dutch defence comes out, but Van der Ven stays in, and so when he strikes the ball, and mate, he's in an offside position, but you can just see Van der Ven here on the left-hand side as the ball comes out. The rest of the back four move out. He stays in, keeps him onside through the defender's legs, and they get back into the game, and it's just, like I said, the frustration for me is that they are capable of much more than what they showed today, and they can be a lot more braver than what they put out.
Yeah. Crescenzio Somerville, his stock has suddenly risen, hasn't it? Because when you look at it, his debut was on the 3rd June, and that was only 10 days ago, and now he's playing in the World Cup and scoring, and it was, at the time, 2-1, a really important goal.
It was, and to be fair, there weren't many times that the Dutch got in between the lines, because obviously Japan with that 5-4-1, they were really compact, quite organised, difficult to break down and quite deep. But Gravenberch gets into a really good space here, and does a lot. Quickens up the attack, real quality. They just drop off that little bit, but he's got good runners around him, Somerville. The runner on the outside, and then Marlon just pulls away, and all of a sudden you just get that little bit of space as he just dips inside. I think the goalkeeper might just be a little late to go. Maybe he's a little unsighted, but he just sets it out beautifully with his left foot outside the post and brings it back in. It's a great goal.
Yeah, they had the numbers back, though. The frustrating thing for Japan, they had the numbers back. Yeah, it's a good move from Holland, but you've just got decision-making, just lads sleeping at the wrong time. Because when somebody cuts in like that, as an ex-midfielder, when somebody cuts in like that, you kind of want that sometimes. You have the bodies there, but people just not going that extra yard. And these are big moments, small details, but big moments.
And then a second fight back from Japan to get the equaliser. Daichi Kamada, 88th minute from a corner.
Okay, now my rant about the Dutch. So, they're 2-1 up, they're comfortable, and they decide to put on a third centre-back. And you're just inviting pressure. And ironically, it's from a set piece, and we've got the extra big player on there. They've got Ake on there. They've got about 4 or 5 big bodies. Van Dijk's obviously the free man. They expect him to win the ball. He doesn't. And Japan, from probably the only decent delivery they had the whole game. But why bring on the extra centre-back and this propensity to try and hold on to what you've got? I didn't think it was needed on the day, and it allowed Japan to gain some momentum. Mito came on as a sub, put some pressure on them, and they paid a price.
Yeah. These were the fans as well, so the reaction from the Japanese, they're such good value all game, especially this guy, who actually we stayed on for about 10 minutes, and that celebration just continued on a loop. Look, they had a great time. Ultimately, for Japan, this must be a great result for them to get through this game.
Fantastic from Japan's point of view. Anne just mentioned there, obviously maybe lacked in belief, but towards the end it was the Dutch. When they got themselves in that winning position, and then start making defensive changes, and then of course on the set piece. So Japan will be delighted with that. But all credit to them, as much as I felt Holland were obviously to be in control of the game, but you stay in the game, you keep the fight. There's always just one goal in it, so we took our hats off to Japan. But it'll be the Dutch who'll be frustrated. Japan will be delighted with that draw.
On that set piece, sometimes, and I've been in defences where you've got a dominant centre-back or you've got a dominant goalkeeper, and when they go for it, everyone else stops just imagining and thinking they're going to deal with it. Van Dijk goes for it, and once he misses it, Van Hecker should be a lot closer to him. And
the keeper should do better.
It's a big mistake. Or the keeper should save it.
When the keeper gets a hand to it like that, the keeper's got to do better.
Do you agree with what Andrew was saying there about the Dutch's tactical change?
Yeah. I think when you get yourself, when you're 2-1 up and you're obviously a very, very good team, it's not as if they're under huge pressure. So you're worried there's sometimes your coach is trying to be too clever. But when you're 2-1 up, there are opportunities to go and finish the game off. And as we know, we've watched enough football over the years. When there's one goal in it, at this level, you're always in with a chance as much as the Dutch were in control. So not to finish the job off, they'll be kicking themselves.
Have a look at this as well. This is from the Japanese bench and perhaps a little bit of timekeeping here. How clever are they here? Ange, have a look at what they're doing.
Ball go short away.
Yeah, I guess their timekeeping is good, fantastic. I just wish they had something up there that says, you know what, just be a bit more brave and play a bit more to their capabilities. I get, Roy is right that they should be really happy with the 2-2, but I know the capabilities they have. They can win these games by playing with a little bit more courage.
Gary, ever, when you were in the coaching teams or management, do you ever have the urge to write down exactly what minute, just to guide the players exactly where they are in the game?
No, that wasn't a tactic that I deployed.
I'm sure there's a scoreboard, isn't there, or something else they can...
When I saw a 6 goal, that was the goals we conceded.
Exactly. Look, they'll move on as well. Look, the next game, Netherlands play Sweden on Saturday and Japan played Tunisia on Sunday too. So who's in a better position?
No, I can't. I probably was more impressed with the Dutch tonight in terms of their performance. Yeah, they've given a couple of daft goals, certainly the set piece at the end. So I'd almost be, in the bigger picture, you're thinking the Dutch look decent. But again, you can't underestimate Japan. I also give them credit for hanging in there. But I think they'll both move on, and towards the end, we'll take the draw and move on. And tough games to come, but you have to take that. You have to be contented. I still think towards the end of the game, you're thinking, well, make sure you don't lose it. But I go back to it. The Dutch were in control, and I still think they'll be more of a threat in the latter stages than maybe Japan.
They gave it all. Japan definitely deserved that equalizer at the end. But I think both teams played pretty well. They showed what they can do when they have the ball. Second half, we saw Gakpo, we saw Somerville getting in that 1v1 much more, creating chances, scoring the goals. The same for Japan. So the tournament, I think, have all eyes now on these teams for the future as well, because they really showed their qualities. And what a fan base, man.
So we talk about the players, we talk about the crowds, but this was also a game where the coaches played a part. So when Holland went 2-1 up, Koeman made a few changes, which was a little bit too early for me, because Japan was really a good team. You can't go back and defend 2-1 that early. Japan coach, he made a few changes, took his strikers up, put new strikers in, and it paid off. One of the strikers that came on scored. So great performance by them as well.
People get frustrated with draws, with ties here in America. This was a darn good tie. I mean, game of the World Cup so far, 2-2 the final. Let's go through the highlights. And yes, business really picked up in the second half, but there were moments in the first. Big save right there from Suzuki, the young man who was born in Newark, New Jersey. He had a couple in the first half. Go to the 43rd minute. Here comes Nakamura from Japan.
That was kind of like a warning for the Netherlands as we saw that was the 43rd minute. This is in the 51st one. They've just come out, they've had a break. Virgil van Dijk, what a great head. We see, look at Van Dijk now, look at the way he looks at it. That's great camera work, that, and what a great goal.
His 13th international goal as he earned his 93rd cap. 57th minute, Nakamura levels things at 1.
Very smart goal now. I mean, these are the typical ones between the legs, first post, nobody can see the ball. Great finish.
His 12th international goal, first on the World Cup stage, 1-1.
But, before the game, we discussed, is Somerville going to play? Is he going to play on the left? Because that's what he does for West Ham. Well, he played on the right, and he was right, Koeman. Absolutely right. Because he made that was absolutely fantastic.
Peter, as we said, first half, we didn't see much of these players. Every time they would have the ball would go back. But these are the players that need to go for some, something. And they tried. Second half, they got into the match and went for, a bit more of offensive skill.
That was Somerville, the West Ham man, with his first international goal. 89th minute, the latest goal in Japanese World Cup history.
Yeah, and you know what? Darren Fletcher in commentary said, oh, surely they can't be crossing the ball. They've got to go short. And then that happened. Ogavi came on, and I mean, they deserved that. I mean, that was the right result at the end. And I mean, the Japanese fans are above us. They are below us, and the celebrations were just fantastic. Great experience for us to see that, and congratulations to both the Netherlands and Japan for giving us that experience.
Draw was a fair result. I think we all agree with that one.
Yeah, and I think they're both happy with that first match. You don't want to lose, definitely, but also the performance, I think, was at a good level from both teams.
Fourth draw of this World Cup. We were talking at halftime, what needs to change, particularly for the Dutch? What did they do early on that signaled that they were making a tweak to the total football mentality?
No, actually, I think there was a lot of control in the first half. Maybe, as I said, bring your quality players more in the game. Give them earlier the ball so they can go for the 1v1. At the end, that's what in football needs to be happen, right? We have seen it so many times. If you don't take on a man, nothing much will change, especially with a team that organized as Japan. And here, for example, Gakpo, this is one of his major qualities. We saw it so much more in the second half. Ball in the deep as well, giving him the opportunity to do his 1v1s. These are the moments that the Dutch needs to create more and more. And on the other side, we saw as well the run of Dumfries going into that space, creating the space for a 1v1 for Somerville. This is what you want from your offensive players, and we have the quality, and I think it will just increase. This is just the first match, much more to come.
We also talked about Japan at halftime, and I said, do the same. You don't have to change anything because you got everything under control. You're putting pressure on the Dutch. You're squeezing space. You're not allowing them to play. You don't give them the opportunity for the individualities to go and create anything. And then you get 1-0 down within 5 minutes, then you have to change. And I think that the Japanese team showed us today that they are versatile, they are flexible, they can play very defensively, but they can also change it when they need to. And to come back twice, they also have the mental strength to do that. So I think Japan this time around is probably a team that we need to keep a closer look on, because they could do stuff in this tournament.
Yeah, we shouldn't be surprised by that mentality. They are not a weak nation, right? And going down twice to a program like the Dutch, only to rally and get a point here in Dallas, a remarkable result for the Japanese. Superior Player of the Match is sponsored by Michelob Ultra, the captain for the Dutch, Virgil van Dijk. First half, he had a game-high 76 touches, 110 overall. It was his passing, though, that was really impressive today.
Well, I said before the game, that was my player to watch today. And the reason for that is that his season at Liverpool's not been great. It's not been to the standards. And I think when you come in with that kind of reputation to a World Cup, you need to step it up a little bit. And I think today, with Van Hekken next to him, he was a much better defender. He's not played with a good defender like that all season. Konate at Liverpool has had a poor season as well. So I felt today that
he was confident. He was confident.
Yeah, but also everything he did was right. All his decisions, they were right. He interfered at the right time. His passing, he had the long passes up the pitch at the right time. He did everything he had to do today right. And also today, because he played well, you could sense that he knew he was playing well. His leadership, helping his team, was very impressive.
One other bonus for the Dutch, Memphis Depay, injured for much of the last couple months, if you will, able to get 20 minutes off the bench. 1-1 the final. One of the great traditions of the Japanese national team fans. We talked about those blue bags in the pregame. They are being put to use right now. I hope they have a different bag for recycling, right? So we can take some of this aluminum and plastic, not throw it.
Are they doing it? Oh.
Yeah, there we go. See, that's the talent we're looking for from the Japanese. Can't wait.
Japan as well. Like we said before, they battle. They stay in the game.
They were disciplined.
Yes.
They were disciplined. They stuck to how they wanted to play, and they continued to probe and continue to squeeze up the pitch when they were able, right? They were very disciplined and organized defensively. And then in those moments, transitionally, they were able to go vertical very, very quickly.
I thought they made some good subs as well, notably on the right side, Junya Ito, the right winger who came in. He was fantastic. He was causing problems for the left back, whether it was Van de Ven or Nathan Ake towards the end of the game. He was really good.
Virgil van Dijk got Superior Man of the Match, by the way. And what kind of match do you think that he had guiding the team from his center back line?
Yeah, I mean, listen, first and foremost, as a center back, you want to be defensively strong, defensively sound. I think he was that. And ultimately then goes and leads his team with the first goal. You know, we talked about set pieces, how they can play a huge part. The second phase of the first goal, the cross comes in, he's able to get on the end of it and just guide it into the back post, off the back post. And you know, his presence on that back line, his understanding of how they wanted to play, talked about speeding the game up. That starts in the back. That starts in the back with him when the ball's at his feet, starting that attack and just seeing where the spaces and the gaps are, allowing these attack-minded players for this Dutch team to go and do their thing in terms of creativity.
But also, every cross that was put in the box from Japan, he gobbled it up. Like, the amount of headers he won today was ridiculous.
Minus the equalizer.
Yeah.
Inches. It's a game of inches.
Yeah.
And the initial header, the ball comes in off the corner, just misses it, and ultimately the ball's in the back of the goal. And one that he'll look back on thinking, could I have got more
Japan fans are coming to salute all of these that are around us right now. That made the atmosphere in this game for the last 30 minutes.
But since we were talking about Van Dijk, let's go and head over to the highlights and watch this game recap, what we just experienced and witnessed here in Dallas. I mean, it's non-stop, guys. The fans are still here. Now look at this in the 49th minute, and that is the captain of Netherlands, Virgil van Dijk. Guys, the precision, well, first of all, the service was phenomenal, but also the precision and the calmness of that header to the back post.
Just watch in the middle of your screen, you have 3 numbers in the box. Virgil van Dijk just guides this one, and I love how when he heads it, he almost ends up in a squatted position as he's watching. Is it going to get in? Is it going to kiss off the post? But how about the cross from Gravenberch? He's just got a little bit too much time and space to pick exactly where he wants to whip this ball into, and that's a class header.
But just his movement and then ability to read the flight of the ball, to take a half a step backwards, to then guide it in off the post.
All right, now let's look at this highlight in the 57th minute. The play from the wing, probing, and this is Nakamura. I mean, the angle, the way that he turned his hips, that's a hard one to shoot, and first post as well. Just watch this replay.
It's good work down the left wing here from Kuba. He doesn't just put the ball into the box. He waits, he's patient, he draws 3 defenders in, and Nakamura is now able, dribbling backwards, to shoot between legs through to the near post. That's so hard for a goalkeeper to see that one coming.
It's so hard as a goalkeeper because you're anticipating the defender to take away that half of the goal, and the only place he can go and put it is to the far post. But an absolute unbelievable finish through the legs, back across him.
By the time Verbruggen sees this one, it's just a little bit too late. He's got no chance. This really started to open things up now. Now both teams started going for it. And in the next moment, when you see Netherlands start their next attack, you really want to look at the feet from Ryan Gravenberch. Another assist for the young man. He sets up Somerville, who's able to off-balance his defender with the overlapping run from Denzel Dumfries to cut inside and finish that one off the post. Look at this bit of skill right there from Gravenberch to split 2 defenders. Now here, chop them back again, and then find the pass. Watch the overlapping run on the outside. That creates the space to come inside, and really Suzuki could do nothing on both goals. Both goals are off the post and in.
He made unbelievable saves throughout this game to keep it at 2, and both finishes, as you just said, Sash, were really good finishes. As soon as the overlapping run comes here, it allows Somerville just that little window to open up. And again, the defender plays a little bit of a wall for Suzuki, and that delayed response is coming because he can't see it until it's already gone past him.
Guys, that was brilliance that we saw, not only from Gravenberch, but also from Somerville right there. That is exactly what you want to see out of your young player. And also this right here was my favorite part. Now at halftime, it was 0-0. And one of the things that we talked about was, hey, are both teams going to walk away content with a tie, just like Brazil and Morocco yesterday? There was a moment where Netherlands were up, okay? Do you think that is still the same? Are both teams walking around content, or are the Netherlands saying, we let it down, we conceded a goal in the final minutes of this match?
I think so. I think when you look at the tactical adjustments, especially late on that Ronald Koeman had made, going from a back four to a back five, that's him saying, right, we're going to close up shop. We're going to be content taking 2-1 win here. And now all of a sudden they concede late on, especially in the manner that they did. I think they're going to be extremely disappointed with letting these points slip through their fingers.
Definitely. They're going to be the disappointed of the group, Netherlands. They're going to go into their locker room and feel a little bit down, where I think Japan's going to get in the locker room and it kind of feels like a win, right? They're both on 1 point. It's both a fine start to the World Cup. I expect both these teams to pass into the knockout phase. Good start for both squads, but Japan's going to be the happier of the two right now.
I agree. I completely agree. You walk into the locker room on a late tie, you're just like feeling it. You're feeling that extra motivation to be like, okay, guys, we didn't let down, and we came in through in the final minutes when it counts the most. Now for the Netherlands, I mean, you think you had a really good second half. Actually, you had a really good entirety of the game. They were dominant in possession in the first half, and then in the second half continued to break through the lines. A very compact and hard Japanese defensive line, and they did it. But they came up short in those last final minutes, and that one hurts, especially for a team that's, like we said in the pregame, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right?
I think when you look at these two teams, before this game would have started, you're looking at a Holland team that is probably favorites to take the group. After this result, Japan is going to have the belief that they can go into these next two games and say, you know what? Why can't that be us taking the top spot in the group and advancing and moving on? And so that belief that comes with a finish like we just saw, that could be extremely strong in a competition where you're going to have to continue to go out and perform game after game.
So you think Japan are favorites to win the group now?
I think they will have more belief in themselves.
No, I'm asking you, not what they're going to believe.
I still think Holland will top the group.
I think Netherlands will top the group also. If I'm comparing two teams that are very, very similar, and after a 2-2 draw, I'm always going to pick the team that has more individual talent, that has more brilliance in the final third, somebody that can make a play out of nothing. That's the Netherlands for me.
Are you not a team guy?
I love the team, but I'm kind of selfish too, you know?
Guys, I don't know. I'm actually kind of keen on Japan making top of group.
After wearing an outfit like this, you're gonna change to Japan? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, make it make sense.
Get my girl.
It's not making any sense at this point. No, I mean, you look at their group: Sweden and Tunisia, the other two opponents in the group. If you look how Japan, how they do stay compact defensively, they are solid. I get it. Netherlands did challenge him. Netherlands were good against them, but I do think against a team like Sweden and Tunisia, I think they'll pull through on the higher end.
It's a big matchup later tonight between those two teams, and whoever can come away with 3 points is going to put themselves in pole position to make it out of the group. I don't think either of them are going to win the group, but if you win that game tonight, you give yourself a big opportunity to finish second or third.
In the meantime, I guess I'll still stay in orange, but...
The plan was to try and lock it up. Daniel Akpeyi, let's quickly rush through the goals. There are 4 of those, but it was Van Dijk that obviously opened up the entire party.
Yeah, he actually took advantage of his height and with a little bit of nudge. I wish we talk about scoring goal is all about experience, because you can see that with a little bit of nudge on the player there, he was able to get the right header and get, a direct angle into the goal. It's a good one for him. I think it's 13th goal now for the national team, which has actually made him one of the, top among the team now. And if you look at the second goal as well, same thing happened when Kamada also scored. It's almost like same situation, just with experience. Kamada is 1.84 and Van Dijk is 1.95, and for him to be able to get the ball on top of Van Dijk, it's that the same nudge that helped him to get the goal.
Maybe Japan will be disappointed with that nudge, but they won't mind, because at this moment they then made it 1-1. Keito Nakamura, John, fantastic finish. Goalkeeper could have saved this one, maybe.
Oh, a bit harsh, I think. I think it's a good strike. Takes maybe a little deflection as well, but it's a really good play down the side there as well. Cuts the ball back here, and a really good finish. Not much backlift on it, but enough to just beat the goalkeeper there. Again, so many bodies in front for a goalkeeper as well. When you have the back 4 in front of you, it's sometimes difficult to see the ball when you see it at the last minute, but it's a good finish. maybe the keeper could have done better. I maybe agree with you now.
Yeah. So then it was 1-1 at that stage, and probably the Japanese fans were celebrating a point, thinking they could walk away with that. But Somerville, fresh from picking a yellow card seconds before, Humutso going on to give the Orange the lead.
You have to give him the credit for composure, vision, ability to kill it in this moment, because he's got 3-4 defenders in front of him and they are thinking he's lost, he has nowhere to go. But look at the technical quality, close control, lifts up the head to check where the goalkeeper is, and on his weaker foot, look at this. This is a difficult finish. There's 4 defenders around him. The goalkeeper sees the ball, let a good goal.
It's a great run on the overlap as well on the outside to create the space inside.
And then this one, to wrap it up, we absolutely had no idea who had scored at the beginning. Kamada and then Koki combining, but no one in Japan cares.
I'm not sure combining. I don't think I knew too much about it, but you can see here, it just catches the top of his head, but he'll take that every day of the week. And again, I think we was all delighted for that to go in for the Japanese tonight.
Yeah. Daniel, fair to say Japan will be the happier nation?
Of course, they will be the happier nation, because this also give them a lifeline to be in the group, because you never know what's going to happen in the next match. But as long as you get a point out of this, it gives you a lifeline to be in the group still.
Gary Neville, how would you describe that first half of football?
I think lacking a bit of risk. I think on both sides, maybe a bit of quality in the final third. That would be my main takeaway. I think that the Dutch will be really happy. Holland will be happy because they're controlling the game. I think the danger of the Japanese counter-attack has never materialised. They've sort of stifled that. So I think at the moment, I'd be slightly happy if I was the Dutch than the Japanese team. They need to get themselves going a little bit, and they just maybe started to show signs just before half-time.
And the Japanese keeper, Suzuki's been tested a couple of times, and he's managed to save those.
Yeah, had a test really early on. It's probably the one time driving in the inside space, played in Marlin, and he had to be alert. And, it was well struck towards him, but, as I said before the game, he does have quality. He's got presence, in between the sticks and between the posts, and he's needed to there. And they have been a slight threat from set pieces as well. We mentioned that before the game, the Netherlands, and he pulled off a save from a Marlin header as well. But hasn't had a lot to do, but just a little bit of a glimpse into his quality. And as Gary mentioned, the Dutch, they got some threats from set pieces, so that's something the Japanese are going to have to look out for.
Roy, how do the Netherlands break them down? How do the Netherlands get through?
Well, obviously this is the hard part of the football when teams are sitting in, particularly when they're disciplined, like Japan are, and a really good team shape. But this is where you need a bit of individual brilliance, someone to actually go by somebody. They don't seem to have that at the moment. So the one thing I always look at football, we saw it early when Germany, 1-2s, quick 1-2s on the edge of the box, because Japan is so good at it, sitting in. You got to kind of move them, and the Dutch seem to be struggling to win their 1v1s, or somebody going past somebody. So 1-2s, edge of the box, quick play, and try and get some shots away. But credit to Japan, they're well disciplined.
Gary, a couple of Japan's brightest moments, the main two happened just before half-time.
Yeah, the first one, the Dutch are actually in good shape, and they just get a little bit sort of sloppy at the back post as it eventually comes across. I think the one time, or a couple of times that Japan have had a bit of a success is when they just made those little inside runs in those channels. There's a little ball gets floated over. We'll see it here now. They do this quite well, the Japanese, just the little runs in those channels there, and then just Somerville at the back post, he just gets underneath it, loses the flight of the ball. I think he's trying to pull it back into that near post, and he just doesn't get it right.
Yeah, no, good first touch by Nakamura. As you said, he just snatches at it at the end. But you're right, it's those little runs they're making into those half spaces in the box. They know probably just crossing the ball in, they're not going to get a lot of joy with Van Dijk and Van Henke in there. But this is a brilliant run. What a ball, Roy, eh?
Brilliant run, absolutely brilliant run. And then the pass, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we criticised left back here and Van Dijk getting cut out a little bit. But let's focus on the brilliant attacking play. And that's where Japan have just let themselves a little bit of good movement, but that final bit of quality, I think they're sitting in. Discipline has been fantastic. Just a bit more quality going forward. But again, they've showed signs just for half-time. But great run, great pass. A little bit unlucky.
How pleased will Japan be with that first half, and?
Look, I think it's been controlled from them, which I expected. As I said, they're very risk averse. They won't take the game to the opposition, even though they have that capability. So we got a glimpse of it towards the end there. And I think if the Dutch do sort of lapse in concentration at this stage, they'll punish them. But there's still a threat there from the Dutch. I think Somerville, particularly on this side with Dumfries, can cause them some problems on the right-hand side. So they're going to have to be disciplined.